SFJ 4x4 Studios presents
in my oversized four-wheel drive Jeeps.
a Jeep podcast starring industry experts.
Pure monosity. What? Say that again.
With mad scientist Scott Brown,
Use my drill press as a sort of lathe.
our host Neil Simpson,
If one light goes out, they all go out.
filled with shenanigans.
We are really professional with Jeeps.
This is I Speak Jeep.
Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever, however you are joining us. This is the I Speak Jeep podcast presented by SFJ4x4.com. My name is Neil, and I am joined in Grandma's Couch Studio.
By that producer guy over there.
The Italian Stallion here this week, not last week, obviously with our sweet sound effects and transitions ourselves.
Yes.
I had the goat last week, though.
Nice.
I
So
think.
you're learning.
Yeah.
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 And then we've got the maddest mad scientist, Scott Brown, sitting on the other couch over there all by his lonesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We need a guest over there sooner than later.
We just get I think we just get a
Okay.
giant stuffed animal for him to snuggle
I got
up to.
my lion.
I know. There's
That's a
significance
pillow, not
to
a
that
stuffed
pillow.
animal.
There is everything in here. Actually, on that particular couch, Scott, posted a picture on our socials this weekend.
Yep.
Which, if you,
I was sitting right here too.
yeah, you were. Yeah, if you didn't
That
see
is
it,
Scott's spot.
I encourage you guys to go and check it out. It's so awesome. It's an 11 or 12-year-old picture.
Yep.
Of you and I on that particular couch. And Scott's couch, though, if you're unfamiliar with our studio because you're only ever listening in your ears, which we really do appreciate. That's the vast majority of you.
It's before the couch got a lift kit.
That is before that seat got a lift kit, right? So quite literally, just as a refresher, the couch that I'm on is literally out of my grandmother's house, and has some significance. As far as, nostalgia and a gift that my dad had done and blah, blah, blah. And then the couch or seat that Scott is on is quite literally the back seat out of a Cherokee Chief.
Yep.
That Greg did arts and crafts on and gave it a lift kit.
After the picture he's talking about.
After the picture. And that picture is just so epic because it's you and I at the very earliest era of this business full-time, or we had been in part-time for some years at that point.
Yep.
But this business full-time, and we had our one-year-old boys, or less than one-year-old boys.
I think they were pretty small.
They were very small. Definitely not that small now. Definitely people encourage recreating that photo, and I'm here for it.
You should.
I'm here for
Give my
it.
lap a pep talk.
Listen to you. That would be a fun Saturday gig.
I would. And not only did the kids grow up, but the couch grew up. So.
Oh, look at that. Wow. I'm so glad Jeff's back.
I knew you missed me.
Uh-huh.
So in the comments, Nate is first, and he says, good morning. If you're near Mesquite, Nevada, come see us on May 2nd and 3rd for Trail Hero X, guided trail rides, meet and greets, etc. That is pretty cool. If you have a chance to go out and see Nate, you should definitely do that. Jeannie says, good morning. Morgan, Daddy Jeep says, good morning, guys. And Gridlin Jeepers, morning, fellas. And Jega Jeepers, good morning.
Good morning to everyone. And those of you who are listening at a later date, understand that you too can get involved. Just about every Monday morning, you can jump into the comments as you see fit. You can jump online via the YouTubes or the Facebooks and, follow along, hang out, comment, just in general, get involved in the process. And we do appreciate that. Today, I thought it's interesting. I was talking to one of our customers, and for the life of me, I actually don't exactly recall where the brainchild came from. But a conversation to expand upon the number of projects or vehicles that are under our care at any given time, but explicitly right here and now. Meaning, a lot of folks are used to our Tuesday updates where they get a brief look into all the Jeeps that are on property and a number of the projects and the processes that we apply to it.
Which is, if you're not aware, that's a good way for you to come in and kind of see. Say you're states away from our physical location, you can tune in on Facebook, Tuesday Lives. It has been a little more shaky since Jeff's predisposed in other places, because now it is up to me and Neil, and we are busy and we forget things.
Yep.
But we do our best, and sometimes on Wednesday, to do this update, and we will go through what is currently getting worked on the shop. So if you want to see like cool builds and cool process of what we're doing, you can tune in and do that.
Right. And you get to see some updates. And while I, try to periodically give a call, and when Jeff was here in his full-time capacity, he would do a call and just kind of a friendly update. Likewise, if you are a more longitudinal build, you might get assigned a photo album. It's, again, something kind of unique that our long-term project customers, or if you're just a longitudinal customer, you might have a photo album. Even if you're just in for some rudimentary services, you still might just get a photo album and an update there. And so while those things are normal enough for us, doing the Tuesday updates kind of is that further extra act of transparency and the ability to just kind of share, like, hey, this is Scott uses the term sprinkling. He'll try to sprinkle himself. Greg really likes to do dedicated project work.
Yep.
The biggest challenge is constantly parts logistics and flow. Prior to COVID, it was a problem of ours, but obviously COVID pinched our logistics system. It improved for a period of time, and my opinion, in the last year and a half, it's been absolute trash. Shipping companies, product quality, import processes. The last year and a half, pretty much since late 2024, early 25, trash. I don't know, logistics again. So, so his problem is he'll have to bounce around begrudgingly onto other vehicle projects while waiting for parts and process
Well,
stuff.
and speaking of other projects, Scott Bennett's in the comments saying, "Good morning, gentlemen. We love the new ride of Jenna's Gladiator. Great job."
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad to hear that. And that's a perfect example of a good Jeep that we were able to optimize and make better, right? It came in cool wheels. And honestly, there's a perfect conversation where we have an opportunity to talk a little bit about customer Jeeps and some of the life lessons we learn. It's a Gladiator. We don't oftentimes think about buying a full-size spare per se, right? And so when they initially did their tire wheel purchase, they got 4 cool wheels. And they looked good with the Jeep and everything. Had a theme, and it was awesome, And a year or two later, we went to get that 5th matching wheel. Lo and behold, doesn't exist. Yep.
Wheels are really like sneakers. If you like them, buy them when you see them.
That's a great analogy. That's true. Yep.
But
as a project, Scott worked with me in this scenario to kind of update his wife's Jeep, and I shouldn't even update it. Optimize it is the word I'm looking for.
Yep.
Give it that nice JKS suspension. Get some really good quality tires on the ground for them, and we did end up getting them a 5th full-size tire. It just happens to be mounted on a 20-inch OE aluminum wheel. As a fun fact, again, life lessons learned, there are not spare 20-inch wheels for Gladiators, right? So if you have a Gladiator, I have not seen it. So if somebody in our comments or wants to email us and correct me, there's not like a steel wheel for the 20s. Right? So you can have a nice 17-inch wheel package on a Gladiator, look up under the bed, you're going to have a steel 17-inch wheel. Aluminum on the ground and a nice, 17-inch wheel tire package on the ground, up under the bed, steel. They don't expect you to do the same 5-tire rotation that your Wranglers do.
Unless you're Jeff.
Yeah.
Totes. But he had steel wheels all around,
right?
Didn't you?
Yeah.
But he talked to me when he originated, and I was like, "You want to rotate your.
But
fifth in.
even so, the steel wheel underneath was slightly different than the rest.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. You're right. And anyways, so when we went to upgrade to a full size spare for them for that emergency case usage, what do you do, right? We had to do a hard pivot, and fortunately, we had the opportunity to acquire an aluminum, 20-inch off of another application, and boop, under the bed it went. So, anywho, and those are the types of things that we talk about on the live.
Yes.
Those are the type of little incremental learning opportunities that you may or may not be explicitly.
And we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly on the live, where we want to have that transparency. We don't walk on water. It's one of my sayings is I didn't wear my sandals today, so I can't, I'm going to fall in. And sometimes, no matter what you try, sometimes parts bite you or
and
things.
this is a perfect segue, and I'll let you kind of continue where we have that beautiful Jeep from Florida here currently, as we often have some Florida or California or whatever going on, and while I can do phone calls and we can do pictures and whatnot, we showcase on the live because it's there. You did a full transmission build and it was gorgeous, but we learned something valuable about parts availability and eras of T176s.
Yep.
And I was able to showcase that on the live last week and sent that link off to the customer. So it was just another way for them to, for Rob and Teresa to kind of see what's going on with their Jeep.
And what they're speaking of is we actually found a build tolerance issue with synchronizers. Basically, out of 2 complete kits, I finally have enough in-spec synchros for 1 transmission.
Mm-hmm.
And in hindsight, when you go on to your supplier's website and all their synchros are out of stock, but the ones in the kit, maybe that should be a red flag. I don't know. Hey guys would have been nice, but whatever.
Sure.
But if your synchronizers do not move smoothly, your transmission won't come out of gear, even though it's in neutral. It is not in neutral. So that means that trying to shift is a problem. Jeep wants to move with the clutch out, and it's in neutral. So that's all good things. And what really upset me more than anything is I worked really diligently on a couple of these recent builds to make them as leak free as possible, which old stuff that's a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And thankfully I was playing with 80s ish, late 70s, early 80s stuff, and they're a little bit more friendly than like the 50s.
40s and 50s.
Yeah, like you want them to not leak, don't put oil in them. But anyway.
I mean, that's the challenge with the old adage of if it's leaking, it's got oil in it, so you're good, right? Not what modern day vehicle owners expect on a broad spectrum.
So I made my own misery on having to take it back apart because I did not intend for it to come back apart.
No, it was really, really well sealed up, and so then it takes us, a whole new gasket kit and having to clean surfaces, mating surfaces again, and do a significant due diligence to make sure that you're resetting yourself at 0 all over.
Yep, and I also wanted to make sure it was going to behave, so I actually filled it up with oil over the weekend and let it sit and think about it.
Mm-hmm.
We make the vehicles think about what they've done sometimes.
That's right.
And,
that's right. Go in the corner until you have a good excuse for your behavior.
So that today I can run it around a little bit more and make sure everything's
a little
behaving.
more bench test at
put
application.
the top cover on after that, shift it through all the gears, make sure it's still behaving, and then it's going back in the Jeep. So
after 48, 72 hours in timeout.
Yes.
Well, and when it comes to the projects too, like you said, we show the good and the bad. We also show when we learn lessons, like on a specific XJ that had a part that we assumed had been replaced by the previous shop, and we chased the diag for however long until one of us was like, what if we just go look at that part? Yep. And the wire was literally split.
Oh, we're talking about the Grand Wagoneer?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I think there is value in that to say, and what I actually had told Rob in regards to this yellow one and this particular CJ5 and a little bit of the wagon is, it happens to DIYers constantly. Sometimes they're aware of it, sometimes they're not. Right. I actually saw a whole thread and blow up on one of the Jeep Life groups this weekend where they were just lambasting Quadratec and Extreme Terrain, and basically people had taken their corners, whether it was, Quad is trash or Quad is God, Extreme is spectacular, Extreme is fluffed up Amazon, go to Northridge, never buy from any of them, whatever.
The part that always amazes me when they get into that like pew pew contest, they're just resellers.
Correct.
They don't manufacture anything really. And even when they do have a house brand, they're not manufacturing it. They're just paying a assembly plant to put stuff in a box that has their name on it. So when you get on there and you're like, they have bad parts.
Well, so here's the thing as a business owner, and I don't want to get too far off the subject on this, but this is where I felt like there was a degree of legitimacy in the person's contention, is that it was Quad, and this is my argument with them, is that it was one of their glass tops or plastic tops, their clear lids, basically their version of clear lids. Yeah. And it was trash. Yeah. Right. So I do blame Quad for that. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
And of course, whether or not the customer's expectations were in line because they took a brand new 25, 26 Gladiator and put a thin piece of plastic on there.
I don't understand those.
And then they were upset with it. And so I don't know if their expectations were in line.
Well, and let me put the power back into you, because when you don't produce anything or make anything in-house, the only thing you are expected to do with excellence is customer service.
Correct.
And they don't do that well.
And that was exactly the frustration on this part. And then we had these people who, which then I had the most humor in the whole wide world, was they jumped online to be like, Extreme Terrain has always been the best customer service, And they were like, we had problems with my barricade bumper and my this and that, my tactic wheels or whatever they were. And I thought to myself, those are all just burner brands for Extreme Terrain. Like, you don't understand that, that's cool that they're providing you great customer service, but they're behind those brands.
I'm going to make it really relatable for people. They're Walmart. They have their great value brand.
Right.
Which is what Barricade is. And it's so that you can be sitting there in the bumper aisle and go, well, I got, this really expensive bumper.
I could buy, yeah, absolutely.
I got this medium of the road bumper. Or if I'm pinching my pennies right now, I can go over here with the great value brand.
Yeah. And they go, well, at least I didn't buy it at the discount food store, right? I didn't buy it on Amazon. I bought it from a Jeep supplier.
And that's why they need to be Walmart and be like, hey, I'm sorry you weren't happy with your
100%.
Value brand product, and here I'm just going to give you your money back.
Which obviously Quad takes the value. Quad just says, hey, it's the Quad brand, right? Quadratec brand. And that's, 6 and 1/2 dozen the other. But then you have that customer service breakdown piece. What all of this is to say is that, back to the yellow Jeep, that this does happen at the DIY level. It also happens at the pro level.
Yes.
And our ability to talk about, hey, yeah, we spent a ton of time looking at stuff that we thought was already replaced, or, hey, this was brand new. It still does happen at the pro level. And we're not trying to fluff ourselves up anymore. Yes, those mistakes might be lesser than, hey, a moment comes out of the box, we might recognize that this is actually broken or askew.
But it's because we've seen it before.
But because we've seen it before, our experience tells us that.
Yeah.
Likewise,
is the first time I've had synchro problems in any transmission I've ever built.
And we've rebuilt a number of these T176s, and we shipped them all over the country at one period of time when we had enough cores to do that with regularity. And that whole scenario here is why we kind of got out of the used part sales game with regularity, because our ability to pull a reproduction part out of the box and then go to one of our storage units and take an original in hand and go, hey, do these things line up appropriately? Is the thread pitch just a little bit different? Is the hardware mounting bore a little smaller or a little bigger? And that's one of the big reasons we don't sell used parts anymore, because it actually got to the point where we were
need
doing
them.
it. We need them as
Yeah.
our living library,
I am going to jump to the comments real quick and just we got Robert saying morning SFJ, Josh Brucker saying good morning guys, Nate saying he found a good deal on Marketplace for a set of 5 wheels when he needed the upgrade. Eric Elliott said good morning guys. Charles said good morning from Texas. Yvonne said good morning, and then Nate also said go skip the resellers, go to Alibaba. I wanted to skip over that, but I'll read it. Charles said, what do y'all think of hookroad.com YJ bumpers?
So I heard a couple people, talk about Hook or Hoke. Just so
It might be Hoke.
Everybody is 100% aware. Hoke is just a Chinese manufacturer. I don't say that in a derogatory sense by any stretch of the imagination. I do think that no different than Rough Country. The only thing about Hoke is that they've been around for a pretty long period of time. I actually think that they're moving in the direction of RC with less quality customer service. RC, I pull no punches. All of their product is importation. They will start with a great R&D process. They've got a bunch of money to invest appropriately there. Good engineers, good customer support and service. And so if you are looking at more of an economical jump-off point, I do like RC. I think that
Unless
Hoke,
it's a 3.5-inch JK lift kit.
which is the worst kit on the whole planet.
But their bumpers, their steps, things like that.
and-
They're
and if you do
decent
have a
enough, and their
problem-
customer service is phenomenal.
That's where the
They
whole
do
Walmart,
a Walmart
model,
thing.
right?
Yep.
And I don't know that Hoke has that established just yet. I'm not running them down. I think they are going to continue to legitimize themselves. I am keenly aware of where Hoke came from 15, 20 years ago. I was there. I saw their come up. I saw them kind of come in with the dawn of the import product line. And if they want to, kind of have further conversation about that, cool. But I've seen where they come from. I think I know where they're going. Honestly, I had a whole conversation about EAG, e-auto grills. If you don't know what EAG stands for, it stands for e-commerce auto grills, and they were just a replacement import part manufacturer. And then all of a sudden, with the boom of the JK, they were like, hey, we can sell a bunch of Jeep parts because we can stamp them out over here in Asia and throw them in a Connex container. They make decent enough stuff as well. Not my favorite by any stretch of the imagination, but there was also an Opar. Opar was kind of cool. I'm not saying anything bad about these folks. It really comes into, like you said, the reseller conversation.
Correct.
Um,
All these brands you just mentioned are probably all built in the same factory.
or a series of factories.
I do want to jump back to the comments because Nate said he's been running the Rough Country 3.5-inch lift and the Gladiator for 4 years with 0 issues. We specifically said the JK.
Yes.
Yeah, as they're completely two different animals, and I'm not going to get into that.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Yep.
We have before. You can go back and re-listen.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So we're talking about internal in-house projects and whatnot that is going down. So and all of this conversation and my thing today was just to highlight the fact that it even happens at the professional level,
Yep.
right?
Oh, yeah.
And that it how we respond sometimes tends to be different. We might move through that problem a little more expeditiously, or we might be able to go direct to manufacturer to resolve that in your favor a little better.
I feel bad for I know there's some old man trying to rebuild his transmission at
Exactly.
home on his workbench. He's not getting it to work right, and he's blaming himself because he doesn't have the experience. And I feel bad for him because it's not his fault.
He's either blaming himself, he's misplacing blame. This is exactly the point that I was trying to make, is that he's actually and there's some cognitive disconnect because he's blaming somebody. He knows in his heart it's X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
But it's not, right? And we are able to kind of go back and say, hey, there's a production break, hey, there's a manufacturer quality issue, whatever it might be, and then we're able to have that manufacturer step up and comp us the kit in a fast manner to resolve the issue. Whereas all of these people on this thread this morning were complaints regarding longevity, right? Issues that were not resolved expeditiously, right?
And how often are we the alarm bell for these manufacturers. They have no idea.
They don't even know there's a problem
because
per
all
se.
they're doing is, hey, please make this product for us. Okay, ship it or drop ship it here. They never even see it most of the time, or if they do, it's really hit or miss. So when we're like, hey, we're having this problem, then they have to go, okay, let's figure out, okay, what lot was that in? Are we having any other issues? In this instance, they're not
Air quotes.
because nobody's complaining,
Right.
which is, again, if you have a legitimate problem, it's important for you to be like, hey, I relate this to being at a restaurant. If your food is not good and it's cold and you don't say anything, you're not trying to be annoying, but how does the person running that establishment know?
How do they improve? And I really struggle with that this weekend. And I because we as a society we've gotten too derogatory in the process.
Yeah,
and
there's
so
a difference between feedback versus just being a jerk about it.
And that's so challenging because I ordered from one of my regular places, again, too tired to cook. It was, this, that, and the third. And the food that we received was not what we're used to getting. And I wanted to call them, and I still might try to address it, but it is so challenging in 2026 to want the best for somebody, but to present some critical feedback in the process. Everybody is so defensive. Everybody's ready to put their guard up. You know what I mean?
But like you say, it's not how many times you do something with excellence. It's how you respond.
It's how we respond.
Yep.
It's the measure of a true and successful business. And I think that I can go back to this restaurant and be like, hey, here's what my experience was. I ate it. I don't want any credits. I don't want any refunds.
I'm doing this for this reason.
That's correct.
Yep.
As far as let's move on to other Jeeps in shop, good, bad, and the ugly. We've had a number. We have a spectacular CJ7 that just came back from the dyno shop.
Yep.
And is working beautifully, and I think is in great accord to head off.
That one is a home run. We also made its transmission not leak as much as possible. It was a Turbo 400 with an AMC bell because of what year it is. It is a quad track, and we were able to go through and just do seals it needed and kind of refresh it, break in the cam, get everything working well. The engine bay now is cleaned up and motor is painted.
Brand new brakes on it from front to back.
Yep, and the brake
as far as the lines and the booster or the master, excuse me, and
it's manual brake. And this customer is doing restoration, kind of dipping his toes in where he can.
Eating an elephant one bite at a time.
I knew it was coming.
No problem, guys.
As soon as this Jeep came up, I knew that saying was coming.
So and now you can drive it. It doesn't have this smell. And again, that's another thing. Learning.
Smell as in a fumey kind of. There's a particular when the engine's not working right, the valve seals are bad. The exhaust collector is not fully sealed.
Correct.
Whatever it might be.
And this is also a testament to having an engine builder that is quality, that knows what they're doing, does a good process no matter what type of motor it is, and then doing the proper steps to get it back into the vehicle, new motor mounts, things are correct, addressing little things as you're there. If that hardware is worn, replace it, that kind of stuff. And now we have a very smooth running, no odor, best 304 V8 we can have.
Correct.
And it is Holly Sniper fuel injected. That's why it went for the tuning. Hit the key, it fires right up. Very confidence inspiring. Transmission works great. Does have our part-time kit in the transfer case that we did previously. So that one, I'm very excited for that to go off into the world, and they have something they can be proud of.
Absolutely.
And enjoy.
I'm going to deviate from the vintage, but as a contrast, I want you to bring up the 3B next, okay? But I'm going to talk briefly about a more modern. We have a JL in that is one of Greg's primary projects at this moment, which is very challenging because we're doing a full motor swap on this JL, and not like a cool motor swap. We're not getting to put a Hemi in there. We're not doing an LS.
This is basically a bone stock 18, early 19 JLU. It is orange. That's kind of the coolest part of it.
You're funny.
Bang.
But it's their daily.
It's a daily driver. It's a daily.
We've had a rash. I have also talked about the upper radiator hose likes to migrate off.
Yep.
Felt that with my own, and this is the Jeep we were talking about with that. They had lost a significant amount of coolant.
And it got driven overheated.
A lot.
Yeah.
And
now
we are seeing carnage inside a 3.6 that makes you want to just blur the pictures.
Yeah, honestly, we've never seen before. And here's the piece is that
it still ran.
and that's the thing is that probably 3 months ago, we made a recommendation that they get a new engine.
Yes.
Right. And again, that professional experience, but of course it has a lot to do with where our customers at in life in the process as well.
I was gonna say, was it? I think it was almost 4 or 5 months ago at this point.
You
Might be.
very well could be true. We could be in the half a year mark. Now that you say that,
But what we could see into that crystal ball, and we were right. It finally left her sort of stranded. She had to call the big hook, and it was big unhappy. But it still ran, but it had no power. Ran like absolute.
The computer knew the engine wasn't right.
And when we took it apart, well, everyone knows about camshaft failures and that kind of stuff. I have never seen both lobes on one cylinder completely gone. Wonder why it was misfiring on that cylinder.
I mean,
boy.
the entire camshaft was wiped clean. Two of the spark plugs
Smashed shut.
The electrodes were smashed shut.
Yep.
The
Dang.
filter. We actually
Looks
Greg
like a
just
crime
pulled
scene.
it. It looked like a crime scene. It
Yeah.
was the most spectacular plugged filter I've ever seen in my whole entire life. And I called the owner and I asked. I said, "Did you happen to put like a stop leak
Motor honey.
motor honey? Like old school." So like back in the day, the reference I made was engines from the 20s to the 60s. When they started to wear out, it was the kind of fly-by-night car dealerships.
Breslone in a can.
Yeah, they used to joke about throwing sawdust in the because that sawdust would actually absorb the oil and it would fill a bearing journal that had gone bad, and so it would quiet it down temporarily. And this was a real thing that scam artist dealers or fly-by-night guys did.
Leather instead of mean and rod bearings.
Exactly. And you would do it just long to make it go away type of deal. Never, ever, ever.
I can tell you good confidence. This does not have any kerosene-based motor honey in it
No.
because it is the nastiest parts to clean. Greg is not happy. We literally had to bring in extra cleaning solvent to do this into separate totes. And things are soaking and thinking about what they have done.
Well, and I think that that's a valuable lesson to share with people on this modern project side of things is that we knew that there was a problem. We encouraged addressing it where they were at in life. They couldn't at that time being. And unfortunately, they're going to incur greater cost because anything that was oil delivery, oil pressure sensitive now has to be replaced at an additional couple $1,000s. Now it's valuable to know that as of most recent, I can say with a matter of confidence that your established engine remanufacturers do not have JL36 engines ready to rock and roll.
Right.
You can buy them in the used market from, crash situations, like a salvage Jeep. Obviously, a number of Hemi swap companies are selling cheap 3.6s. You never actually know the history behind them. So there is a time and a place where a reman with a warranty, with, appropriate stuff makes sense. Well, it is my opinion, Chrysler is aware of the catastrophic nature that these new engines
Can happen.
Can happen. And I say that from a sense that
literally on the motor, it has a sticker. It says, if catastrophic engine damage has occurred, please replace these parts.
So, I think that these engines are so good until they're not. So like think about back in the day, if you had a cordless electric screwdriver, and I'm going back 80s, 90s when cordless electric stuff was nickel cad battery, and it would wear out slowly. You would be aware that the battery on your drill was dying. It was no longer being efficient. It wasn't working well. You were losing power.
You mean unlike the ones now where the battery's dead and it just stops, and you're like, huh?
Boom. That is the. So I need our listeners
Guess I need to charge that.
to assume that analogy with our modern engine transmission combinations.
Yes.
They are great until they're not.
Yeah, old engines would like slowly lock up and take its last breath, and you're like, I think it's gonna leave me stranded. Where the new ones are like, do, bam,
Boom, you're done.
I think I need to charge that.
And on the pro side of things, we can see into our crystal ball based on experience alone. But, and again, I don't fault this owner for having to eke a little more life out of the scenario. Actually, I think they are an amazing trooper. Young kids, school full time, work, all the kind of stuff.
Yeah, they're doing everything they can to do it
They're doing
right.
everything they can to do this world right in 2026. I don't fault them for anything, but that dissonance, because we had to keep explaining, because they're like, but it runs so well after you clear the codes and after you do, I don't know, a coil or a spark plug or something. And
we're just giving it a little bit more pep.
we're just giving it a little bit more pep talk.
We even knew back then we were replacing the coils repeatedly and telling them that it's burning them out because of XYZ.
Yeah.
You need a new engine.
100%.
And we even looked at those spark plugs. They weren't smashed then.
No. So it's a cautionary tale for our listeners to understand what's going on just even the news side of things. And when we do the showcase, the Tuesday updates, hopefully on Tuesday, you'll see that. Now we move to back to vintage.
Yep. So we have a really cool Jeep. It is a wheeler, but vintage. It has an F-head motor in it. And this is why I was foreshadowing with
the engine building conversation, because yes, they're nuts and bolts. Yes, they're pistons and rods and crankshafts and that kind of stuff. But each motor has its own little flair.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes if the remanufacturer doesn't know things, then you as an owner employing them to do their services, then you need to make them rise to the occasion,
educate them, guide them along the way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And none of that happened. So we came in and they were having some problems with runnability. Everybody was blaming the carburetor. Got the gang together. Everybody beat the dead horse that was the carburetor. We put a sniper on it. We went to get it to run, and the motor was like, I am big unhappy. Mm-hmm. And we had a little bit of foreshadowing for this. We had low coolant, low oil. We're like, it's kind of leaking everywhere. This doesn't seem happy. And we're like, it's an old motor. This can happen. So we go throughout the process, and because of other things in the project, they like to blossom sometimes. We cured a lot of that, and then talking with the customer, they were like, "Oh, that's actually, that engine has less than 1,000 miles on it," and we're like, "Woo, woo, woo!" Hold,
Stop.
Well, what we're seeing and what you're telling us,
Two different things.
Nothing looking at this makes me think it has 1,000 miles on it. The plugs are black, like it looks like you went out to a field and got it going again. So I start digging into it. Now on an F-head, L-head situation, your oil pump is driven off the cam, and then your distributor is driven off of that. So that means that the oil pump timing is important.
Mm-hmm.
And you just can't stick it in there willy-nilly. Now, guess what you can do that to? A small block Chevy. Mm-hmm. Because the distributor drives the oil pump. So it doesn't matter where you put the oil pump in on that. Well, and that's actually AMC V8, same thing.
Yeah, I was going to say, lots of Jeeps. So obviously we trashed the small block Chevy just for a funsies piece.
It's fun to beat that horse.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so the distributor wasn't set up right. And come to find out, I had been through 3 shops. The first one couldn't get the run. Second one got the run, but they don't know how. I'm checking it. It's actually firing off of number 4 instead of number 1. I'm like, CSI Jeep is going off the rails. And I'm like, I'm seeing all this stuff. And now because we've had the original mistake, plus we've had 2 or 3 people in there muddling with things, not really knowing what they're doing, but kind of doing stuff. Now I have not only the original thing to fix, now I have 2 or 3 layers of things that they have done to try to fix it, which all you're doing is just moving the Band-Aid.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I say at this point, the best thing to do is go back to the original cause and fix it. Well, now you have to fix everything along. So, and there's a lot of misinformation on this engine. This is the age of misinformation, but we literally, if you look over here, they say the distributor turns clockwise. You go over there, it says it turns counterclockwise. Motor's apart. You can't really just like, oh, I'll bump it over and see which way it is.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, because we're a purveyor of people and old Jeeps, finally I find a thread, and the name that's on the thread, I go, I know that guy.
You're right.
And he has a 3B, and he has an F head, and he's had that forever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, real reputable character.
So I'm going to believe what he says.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? It's counterclockwise.
Sure.
So now I get to go back and reset an oil pump, to reset a distributor to see, is the motor hurt from this experience? I can tell you what I would do if it was mine.
Right.
The motor would be coming out of the Jeep,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd be tearing it down. We're trying not to jump to that,
Correct.
but we know his experience with what we've done is not going to be what it is that orange CJ7.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a big sap, but that makes me sad.
Yeah.
I want to see people invest once, enjoy their process, enjoy the fruits of their labor, even if they're not turning their inches. And that is not the case here.
Well, and I think that that's a piece that I get on my soapbox and I try to shout as loud as humanly possible, is that Jeeps are an animal unto themselves.
Yeah.
We are far more closely aligned with Harleys and Corvettes, where there is dedicated community because of the uniqueness of the vehicle itself.
Well,
Historically, manufacturing, and culturally.
and we have the weird, because we're always behind as a mark, the motor that basically is the base of this engine in this 63
63.
is a 1920s technology.
Correct.
So by the time this Jeep was produced, that everyone else had walked away from this design, this type, and Jeep was like, well, we kind of can make it newer by changing the head and putting some of the valves up here and some of the valves down there. And it worked because they understood it.
Yes.
Probably back in the 20s, what we're dealing with was more common.
Mm-hmm.
So those people that were fixing them, working on them, would have known that more.
Right.
Where same thing in 91, when the Grand Wagoneer came out with still a carbureted 360, everybody else had moved on.
Mm-hmm.
So that meant that tech may have never seen that before.
Sure.
So
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge when it comes to the Jeep specific community, and then how you as a consumer choose. When our listening audience is global, obviously it doesn't always make sense to go to your local 4x4 shop, and let alone, shops open and close daily, whether it be standard automotive, import, racer car, or 4x4, right? So that doesn't mean that just because they're a 4x4 specialist that they're inherently keen at what they do.
Your buddy with a wrench and a screwdriver.
And so it's a challenge, because you go, I think I can trust this person to provide me this service, and I do understand that.
Well, and I think the difference too with a shop like this is we have built networks and connections throughout the decades. So when we run into something we don't know, we know who to contact.
Right.
Yeah.
And get some of that information from them, and then use that to learn even more about it, and then we become the experts on that specific part.
And then on that point, and put the bet on the 63, I think that's part of the thing. He just took it to a reputable engine builder.
Right.
That doesn't mean that engine builder understood this specific engine or a,
Well, yeah, a
you know,
reputable engine builder for Hellcats and all different Hemis may not know anything about an F head or an L head.
there you go. There you go. Perfectly said.
Yeah.
So as we kind of continue to talk through a number of projects, there's a number of folks who are really hoping for Jeeps by summer of sorts. I know Cookie Monster is one of them. We're really trying to get hyped up and excited, waiting for that harness to come in. We want to do a little preparatory work, just further verification, and so that when that harness is in, ideally that Jeep will be going back together and knock on wood, riding off into the sunset accordingly.
And for those that don't know, we're talking about a 2015
right-hand drive
JKU. It's got a lot of postal miles on it.
and then a lot of amazing adventure miles on it.
Yep. So
Heck
it,
yeah.
it has had some issues. Right-hand drives pretty much always have had not the most love from the home mothership with
Right.
wiring. We have dealt with this with Cherokees and TJs and a couple things. The only thing that was great on this is we actually found a listing or part number for the replacement harness.
Mm-hmm.
So that gave us some hope.
Yep.
But like all good things, right-hand drive, you kind of get up and wait.
Yeah. So that's in, and we'll be working through that process. You'll see it probably on the live feed here
Yeah,
sooner
right
than
now
later.
we're charging batteries and kind of getting ready to blow the cobwebs out of it.
Exactly. As we kind of move expeditiously through it, as we again plan for the summer, we brought the Comanche trailer in. You
Yep.
did a nice. That's kind of a fun piece. People seem to enjoy it. It's unique. It's a little bit of a vision I had years and years ago, and it's something coming to fruition.
I mean, at
And-
this point, I wish they had a cab and a 4-liter in it because it's actually really cool.
It's super cool.
It's all blacked out. It pays homage to our teenage years.
Mm-hmm.
It's got some sick KMC bead locks on it.
Yep.
37s that fit appropriately with some sweet fender flares that didn't belong on it, but we made them work. And it's been a combination of efforts on the longest employees and people involved in this business. Greg's worked on it. I've worked on it. We both owned it at one point. It's really cool that it's come full circle.
This one's not the one you owned.
The 89,
No, this is the black one. This is the one that
I owned that.
you didn't own that.
I did. It sat behind my garage.
Oh
for a
my
while.
God. I forgot about that. Oh my God.
Wow.
I 97's dash swapped this and then didn't.
Wow, dude. That was such a blip on the radar. Well, there's a picture of you and I recovering it out of my parents' backyard.
Mm-hmm.
It was going to your house.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to Meadville.
No.
It went to your house. Oh, that's so
And
funny.
then you got it back with the 92.
Yes, that is
I was
exactly.
getting out of Comanches.
I forgot all about that.
Gotten out of things a couple
You got out of things a couple times. You can't get out of me. Whoa.
Oh. All right. On that
On that note, as we keep on trucking through it, we got some continued sweet vintage Jeeps that have need to get some drive time on them as the weather gets better. We've got some standard brake work, standard maintenance work from a number of our longitudinal
we got-
customers.
wiper motor needs addressed. And
Wiper motor, we
JLs needing brakes.
Absolutely. We have to do a couple crawlovers. We've got a Jeep that is somewhere between Youngstown and Charleston. It needs to go back in some degree.
Got another one needs
Just-
to go back to Pittsburgh at
Yep,
some point.
one
for
that's going to go back
driving
to
it.
Pittsburgh. We've got we took care of the safety issues for the one to between Youngstown and Charleston, but it was in for standard crawlover, maybe Hemi swap, but we think it's probably not the platform we're looking for.
And that's something else too that kind of is what the crawlover is for, is so that we can go into being a third set of what's the word I'm looking for? Unbiased opinion of the vehicle. We can just say like, hey, we don't know your history. We don't know who's worked on it. This is what we're seeing. This is the Jeep CSI. This is what the vehicle needs.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what that looks like value-wise, investment-wise. And then they can take a a good, honest
Make an
look
educated decision
say,
from there.
do I want to do this or not?
100%.
And in this instance, they're like, maybe I don't want to put, $30K in this Jeep.
Right, or more, right? When it comes to a good Hemi and reliable, utilization, because there's a number of things that have to be upgraded in that process.
Yep.
30 is a pretty good round number, though. Yep. As we kind of just kind of look down the pipe, we do have a really cool LJ project that's in the wings, and I have been actively trying to pursue purchasing the foundation for this customer.
I'll say you're doing this wrong. We got all the peoples.
Yeah.
If you have a clean LJ,
Automatic
is the big thing, which sadly most of them were.
Nah. I loved my auto LJ, just so we're all on the same page.
I wanted a stick and I couldn't find one. Anyway, if you have one for sale, we're looking for a rust-free example, something that's not overly modified, because we're going to go in and change everything.
I want it bone
anyway.
stock. I really want bone stock and rust-free to the best of our ability.
We'd like the drivetrain, the motor and transmission to be good.
Yep.
Axles are changing.
Suspension is changing.
Let us know.
Yeah.
You can
contact CONTACT at sfj4x4.com or 440-855-2100. Text that number. Don't call it. Text it. 440-855-2100.
And if you got, the Vaseline on the lens, kind of, so you don't need to apply. We've already had our fill of those.
Yeah. I actually went, I took a whole bunch of time out of my day the other day. I spent a month on this particular Jeep, and I drove down there, and it was at a car lot, and I asked for the keys. I never even took the Jeep on a test drive. I got there, I looked at it for 20 minutes, crawled under it, crawled around it, took my pictures, handed it back to the people, said thank you for your time, handed the keys back to this lot.
Not the Jeep for us.
Not the Jeep for us. Now, interestingly enough, as of yesterday, that Jeep was marked sold. I bet I went to auction.
Probably.
I think that, before they took any heat on what that was, I bet you they shipped it off to auction at the end of the week.
Yeah.
It had sat long enough on their lot. It's just a dealer. It's just a small independent dealer game that they play. They tried selling it as a Southern vehicle, and it was not.
Yeah. And
pretty frustrated.
A lot of those people in small lot world don't even know where the vehicles came from. They're just doing their own uneducated or educated CSI.
Mm-hmm.
I know of a few times that people are like selling these vehicles as Southern. No.
Right. And I get that, and that's for another podcast.
Well, how southern were they in the ocean?
So this thing
That's a
was
whole
from
nother-
Missouri,
Yeah.
right? If you go back in the Carfax, it was Missouri, but then it had a little stint in Massachusetts. Well, honestly, that little stint in Massachusetts was much longer than the Missouri,
Yeah.
and yada, yada. But anyways, that's going to be a really cool, long-armed, 44s or better, JK 44 axle swap project, probably a very similar to the Connects and Eugene, the Jeep, which we've showcased at a number of shows. Speaking of, they're back with Clyde. We're going to be doing some work on Clyde.
Just general
or something.
maintenance
Stuff. Kind of just ensuring everything's done with excellence on that particular Jeep. We've got Jim Mallory in. He's dropping his big old rig off, and we're going to be general maintenance, going through stuff. Again, people are attracted to Jeeps. They like to do a little bit themselves. We run out of time. Sometimes when I have a professional who can kind of weigh in on it, I'll actually save myself some time and energy. I mean, I know that when I was on the enthusiast side of the counter, and you recall this, hardware killed projects.
I hate
and
hardware
still kills projects. And the problem is the average individual may not actually even install the correct hardware. Then they have unintended consequences back to that whole manufacturer reseller conversation.
Yep.
And I know that hardware killed projects. And this has nothing specific to do with Jim, but made me think of the Connects and the Mallory's and a lot of our customers who like to do a little bit themselves, but then like to have the shop do a little bit and so on and so forth. For me, I would order hardware and it would take 2 or 3 days. By that point in time, I'd get back to the vehicle. It would maybe be a day or two because my schedule would permit.
What bolt went where? I'm not
What
sure.
bolt? Now I actually don't know. Actually, I mic'd it out wrong, and I ordered the wrong part.
Now I just got to get it back together.
Correct.
I'm wishing it back together.
There is oftentimes a benefit, even for capable DIYers, to bring their vehicle in to ensure expeditious service.
I wish I had $1
received.
for every time Greg took something apart and said, "That's the wrong bolt."
Man, we would all retire
Every
at this point.
Jeep, it seems like.
We would retire at this point. And that's
why-
completely unrelated to those customers' vehicles. But we have lots and lots of customers. I think often too often, and we even had a couple cold call people just walk in last week, and they go, well, I usually do all my own service. And I'm like, that's
Great.
cool, great. I don't think anything lesser of you being here. I encourage you to do it.
Yeah.
If I can help you along the process, wonderful. I think that's one of the things that so many people are attracted to Jeeps for, is that you can do little projects yourself. And that's cool and good. As far as continuing to look down the pipe, arguably our goal is to turn out a number of the vintage Jeeps here on property, of which we have 3 or 4 that should be ready, summertime ready. And then we actually have deposits through the next year or so for our vintage vehicles. We've got a really cool CJ7 coming into your restoration department. We have a gentleman who's a collector. He's got a number of them. I think he'll be bringing his 76 first, is my
CJ5,
understanding.
yep.
And then we have just in and out. We have the FC 170 coming back for some brake work.
Yep.
Just a master cylinder update.
Yep. And just once he again had, before he knew about us, took it to a couple of shops. They kind of knew things but didn't know things. So he wants me to look at some of the front end over, brake wise, seal wise. Hey, was it done correctly? Is it adjusted correctly? We already had investigated the back, which yet was a different shop. It was not adjusted correctly. So he wasn't getting the good stopping power out of it. So just wanting to basically consumer confidence that through so he can stud out this year and enjoy it. We did a full rewire on that previously. And
That's
Because
such
it
a
was
fun-
actually kept
fun
trying to
Jeep.
burn down prior to us.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
kept trying to burn down on him. Again, based on some previous services. To kind of just move back to the new side of things as well, and just kind of leave people with a fun, brain tickle. And I'll go back in the Wayback Time Machine, and I will talk about Andy and James Highlands and their now Hemi equipped 2001 TJ Wrangler. And when they entered the
Are you
business,
saying that's modern day?
well.
I know he hurt me a little bit when he said that.
That's
So
25 years ago.
So no. So what I think is funny is that when we started on their project, which was around 2014 to 2016, which was a decade to 12 years ago, is when we encountered them. Which obviously the Jeep time frame was different, right?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I missed out on the opportunity to go to Jeep Beach because of life, right? And James was very gracious, and he would have hosted us and so on and so forth. I'm going to be a true Browns fan and say, well, there's always next year, right? One of those things. So if we go back in the Wayback Time Machine, I always like to talk about James and Andy and their investment and kind of forethought that they wanted in their Jeep. And of course, the expectation was that, hey, this Jeep, while it is not brand new or modern, is only, blah years old, and it owes me nothing, and I would prefer to invest in it versus going out and buying some other headache. I like the process. I'm willing to work through it with you, and
James is a hot rod guy.
Correct.
He likes to make things his own. I think almost everything he owns is modified.
100%.
Is the bus?
Oh yeah, he's got a Subaru engine in one of them.
Oh, okay. Yep. Everything's modified.
Yeah, it's he's got a great mindset in that. Now, I say all of that to kind of contextualize a little bit of it's your perspective more so and your priority more so than, hey, I've just got I'm independently wealthy and I'm just going to make it rain. That's pretty uncommon in the Jeep community.
Yes.
But recently enough, and this is as I look forward to our performance side projects. We do have a customer coming in who is ready to rebuild their old Jeep,
Yes.
and
This hurt me.
and they too have a great attitude and
What year?
perspective. And they're going to do a little bit of modifying in the process.
The way you said
same-
old Jeep, I'm very scared.
Same conversation as James was, right? It owes them nothing. They have some nostalgia. It's not going to make financial sense to the average bear.
It's going to be the first time we're restoring
It's a restoration project
Oh no. Oh no.
a JK.
on a
Oh, no.
JK.
Oh, there it is. What, wait. What year, JK?
Well, what year, Jeff? You throw me a bone here.
I'm gonna go with a 15.
You know what? I knew you were going to do that. So
15 is the most produced.
Yeah.
Well, it's
That's
also
fair.
it's also-
2011.
I was gonna say the 15 is the one we had all the trouble with, and
Absolutely.
Totes my goats.
but an 11, all right.
2011.
It's a little bit older.
Restoration, ready to do a
It's
full
15
Jeep
years.
restoration. Would like to do, as you had kind of mentioned, some hot rodding. They recognize that it's not going to make sense. A little bit like Harley for the Bradens, who was just in recently.
For an
It doesn't have to
SUV.
make sense to your friends.
You're right.
You know what I mean? It
It
makes
has to make
sense to
sense to
you.
you.
And I suppose I leave our listening audience on that note.
Well,
This was
And I want to point out that Jerry goes, sounds like the dance card is full for big projects at SFJ for the next year.
It is, and I think that with that, I do need to make a further public declaration, and obviously on air, not quite 2 months ago or so, Jeffrey said he was stepping away from the business to pursue his dreams full time, and so his full time residency here at SFJ had come to an end.
But Jeff's a little bit like a rash. It's hard to get rid of him, so he's still around.
Wow. Wow.
Oh,
Hey, he hasn't had that love for a while.
for a long, I know.
I had to give him that.
That's so true. And I didn't have to be the one to bring it up.
All right, guys,
God.
let's see how you really feel.
But
I
we
mean, I
like-
don't have to come back and
we
do
like
this.
Listen, how is
But
this?
do
This
you?
is no
But you really
different
do.
than when you've been gainfully employed full time for 5 years.
I know when the term DJ doesn't mean disc jockey anymore.
Right, right. Or when your employer lovingly refers to as a cockroach.
Well, there's that too. Weirdest nickname I've ever got.
Anywho's.
It is with a really, really heavy heart that I announced that. But obviously wish him the best. That Davey the Savage Thompson, our media marketing specialist, who has been so vital in the growth of.
I'm going to use the term he hates. Our cameraman.
Yes, way, so much more than just a cameraman.
Way more than that.
He too has been inspired to kind of chase his dreams, and he has headed off to kind of to pave his own road and do some sports photography, videography full time under his own direction. So this will be his last time with us. So.
Should have made him get on air for this.
Yeah, right. Couldn't get him on air when he was actually collecting a paycheck. Let
Right.
alone he's leaving. He's definitely not coming on air.
Should have been like, nope, you're required to at least come on and say goodbye.
Right. So, it's been a fantastic 5 years, and obviously Jeff and Davey leaving at the same. So Jeff leaving left a gap massive for our just day-to-day operations, and the Savage,
I think that means he misses you, Jeff.
I do miss Jeffrey.
Well, that and, the Savage was kind of having to pick up some of the pieces that I left behind.
Picked up in that very short interim, did a lot of phone calls, answering, calling people back even. And so that was very beneficial. So with that said, our listening audience, understanding that we have some holes to fill, I will specifically say that we'll probably be doing some restructuring as far as those guys' positions and in which will be available next. And you'll have to watch from my socials and our general marketing to see.
But in the meantime, if you're interested, come on in and talk.
That's true too.
Yep.
That's not to say that we're immediately pursuing those positions full time, but
We're looking for the right people more than
Correct.
anything.
correct. And
You're looking for that customer that comes in to buy a lift kit and won't leave.
It's like that rash again. so if you are trying to reach out to us, as we have indicated, and we are so very fortunate because the Jeep just keeps showing up like on tow trucks, and people just drop them off at night and whatnot.
Yep.
We just ask for your continued patience because our ability to do what makes us uniquely us does have to transition a little bit as, you know, these great individuals, you know, kind of follow their hearts and pursue some of their own passions. Obviously, we will look to continue to refill some of these positions, but those positions might change a little bit. And in that restructuring, we just ask for your continued support and patience in the process to, you know, allow myself and Scott and Greg to kind of keep doing our thing. Greg's famous line, and granted, I need everybody to know, Greg will step up, and he pounded the show circuit with me in 14, 15, and 16. You know, you never see Greg on air. You don't see the videos of him per se. You really don't even see him at shows. Obviously, last year, the best time at Bantam and whatnot. And I mean, he was a trooper. He slept in tents on floors, under vehicles. We drove through the night, did daily, you know, whatever. I love the man desperately. Okay. But he will step up and he'll answer the phone. But he so desperately wants on regular occasion to be like, I can't work on your Jeep if I'm talking to you on the phone. so I will say that now for our listening audience, and then obviously as by extension, you know, anybody who might see this cut online, please don't make Greg say that. let the man work. So
what's really funny is Nate just comes in, healthcare, dental, and 401k. Healthcare is the curb. We'll take you out to the curb, and the ambulance can pick you up there. Dental is wear a mouth guard if you're worried about dental.
That's right.
And 401k is you can pick up pennies that fall off of the bottom of the Jeep.
I mean, if you get lucky, you'll have a Jeep that you own get, you know, increase in value, and you can sell that and retire. It's fine.
That's fine. That's fine.
It's more about passion.
Yes. Right now, that's a passion pursuit, right? And we're here for our customer base and the Jeep builds themselves, and
We get to do some pretty cool crap, though.
we get to do some pretty cool crap. It's about the soft bennies, right? I mean, and I guess I leave this piece, you know, when people pull that into stark contrast. Every day we wake up and play with Jeeps, and very rarely can people say that. There's so many people out there who are hoping and dreaming about that opportunity, and to viably wake up and to just work on Jeeps and to build cool Jeeps and to hear people's stories and to share and to go to events and to go to Las Vegas, to go to Florida, to go to Georgia, to go to these different places and be immersed with the Jeep culture is a soft benny.
And not only that, I know a lot of people my dad were friends with, they had this mantra of, when I retire, I'm going to do this. When I get older, I'm going to do that. When money is right, I'm going to do this. And I know too many people that retired. A year later, they're in the ground. The heck with that.
Right.
Live your life. Enjoy
Here we're
it.
all about chasing dreams, man. Whether
Yeah.
they're, you know, personal, professional, whether you're going to start a metal shop randomly and you're
Accidentally.
you know, accidentally. Greg's got a spectacular wood shop. You know, we're here to lift people up and support them through the process. And you're not just a cog in the wheel per se. And that's what makes losing people really hard too.
Absolutely. They could become family. You know.
Yeah. 100% in that regard. So we
Charles
wish
said,
Davey the best in that process.
Charles said he can only do YJ. So is that an opportunity for an SFJ YJ Texas garage?
SFJ YJ Texas. That's a great spinoff. That's a great spinoff. I love the concept. I love the concept. Whole.
You're always going to be a YJ guy at heart.
I am a YJ guy at heart. I'm not this. We got to be done for today, folks. This is dragging
There's
on.
such
but,
great parts vehicles.
Moving on.
Oh, the shots fired. All right, folks. You know what? It's been a fun one, and look for kind of the video piece on the Book of Faces tomorrow on the actual Tuesday live. And until next time, Jeep on.
Jeep on.
Jeep on.
Not a
No, Jeff is here. Thanks.
Jeff is here. I don't even know what he clicked. I got to be honest with you. I don't remember.
Magic.
Weekend updates.
He tried that.
Yeah, I don't know.
See, that's not easy.
No,
it's
no,
not.
it's not. I don't know. I
Just
don't
keep
know.
clicking it all day long.
Yeah. Oh, it's like a train wreck.
Welcome to why we're so successful at our podcast. It's like, humans love ambulance chasing, and here we are. So, anyways, how was your guys' weekend?
So my weekend was pretty good. I got to continue working on the tee. I got the quarter panel patch made and welded in. Got the wheel well piece kind of figured out. I haven't welded it yet because my son decided, in true ambition, that he's going to make an Iron Man hand out of sheet metal scraps.
That's cool.
That's
okay.
cool.
Okay.
And
I love that. I love that for him.
my dad did a lot of that's not practical.
Yeah, 100%.
And you can't do this.
Yep.
And
100%
let
Fred.
me weld this.
God love Fred.
So I am letting him make mistakes, fall down, pull the TV off the TV tray onto his head a couple of times
Yes.
while I'm there to pick it back up. So I am letting him do his thing, and it's actually he's got a vision. His expectations of time investment are a little bit there, where he's like, I've been working on this for a day. It should be done. Homie,
It's because he watched the Marvel movies and that cinematic.
literally brought
over-
up
that
he
cinematic
built it
overture.
in a cave.
Yes.
Aiden, that's not real. That's a movie. Well, I know, but so I was like, I have realized that I have come full circle where the garage was my zen and where I went to get away from people. And now I'm like, hey, can I use the welder? Hey, can I
Yes.
use my cutting tools? Hey, you don't pick up that or put that away? I'm like, holy crap, I'm my dad. So
I'm going to totally play off that here in a second.
in that, he decided he was going to go out on his own and shape metal, not weld metal. And he learned that finger between hammer and anvil hurts.
Oh.
Yeah.
Got it right in the corner of the nail. The reaction was not equal to the injury.
Was he dying?
Oh
He
my
was
God.
dying.
It's throbbing. Yes, this. It's dripping blood. I see it's dripping blood. Go in the bathroom because now it's on the floor. It's like I've done this, and it's like you're not even going to lose the nail.
Right?
He
Yeah.
did not enjoy that. He was like, "Did we lose the nail?" So
But on his behalf, a finger injury on the tip of the finger does
it hurts.
Do you feel that?
I blew the tip of my bone apart on one of the fingers. I know how it feels.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So anyway, he was supposed to be taking a break. So we decided as a family, once a year, we like to go down the road and pick up trash, get out in nature a little bit, give me an excuse to use a side-by-side for something. So it was fun. And this
You're
is
not
why
walking. You're driving the side by side while they walk and pick up trash.
well, I would drive it a little bit. And my reasoning was then they can see that and they won't hit us as much.
That was.
That's what the
That's
garbage
just
bags
an
in the
excuse.
back.
To,
Yeah, it's just an excuse to ride your side by side while your family
Absolutely.
walks. Yeah.
So, and this is alluding to earlier. I was like, I hate ticks because while it could have been far worse, everybody had to get tick. Nobody got bit, thankfully. But
Yes.
they're just those
They're the worst. right
gosh
now.
darn little.
They're
And they're the
yucky.
little guys.
They're yucky and they're little and they're in everything.
And then
right
you
now.
get the icky crawlies.
Yes.
So lots of showers happen, lots of sanitizing happen.
Yes. Yes.
but-
There's a great opportunity to sing your wife. I'll check you for ticks though.
Right, there is.
There's a. That's a personal favorite of mine.
oh boy.
One thing I was happy with, only 2 bags of garbage this year.
Nice.
So last time it was like whole.
First of all, that means that you're keeping your space, your neighborhood, which is
Yep.
it's a country block.
Yep.
Nice and tidy. But it also means maybe you're setting a precedent for the people.
I'm
around
hoping. There was a lot of small glass-ish bottles I didn't enjoy finding. No vapes though. Got that
Okay.
going for us.
But it's unfortunate when people are throwing back a shot and throwing it out the window. Which is absolutely what they're doing.
Too many energy drinks.
Yeah.
But any which way, our little bit of heaven's a little cleaner. Got to use a side by side. Trash man's gonna take it all the way on Tuesday, so that's good.
Awesome, good for you guys.
So did think about if the tick explosion wouldn't have happened. I thought about trying to ride it over to see what you guys were up to.
Mm-hmm.
But once that happened, I was done.
Put a nail in it. We're done with the ticks. They gross me out. Yeah. I'll kind of, use your conversation as a segue as well. Obviously, really have I have, as an individual, I feel strongly that I have endeavored into a number of things that the average person may or may not do regularly. And I talk about, I don't really watch TV. I actually don't even watch YouTube. With much, I don't watch it. I will watch a episode or two with my wife to like binge something or whatnot, but like that's just not as part of our MO. But so I took on this house project years ago. Obviously, that's on top of the vehicle projects. That's on top of the business.
It's very ambitious.
I then obviously took on the board of the local the festival for the 4th of July, very big community celebration, and then by extension the big fireworks celebration, and then my most recent was then kind of the re-endeavoring back into football and coaching. So
you needed a couple more things to do.
Looking at my dance card, personally, I have recognized that, having to realign, especially because I was able to do that in part because of commitments here at the shop, because we had such a good team in their leadership roles and whatnot. And that allowed us, and Jeffrey may probably feel this way as well in his current pursuits with his restaurant and bar, you were able to attend to things at your homestead because when you were here, because things were moving a little more smoothly.
Right.
And as we were talking about this morning, up until just very recently, you've been pretty much 24/7 bar restaurant.
Yes.
And so, I can appreciate that, you know what I mean? And so as things ran smoother and smoother with SFJ 4x4, I was able to diversify my own interests to then satisfy certain aspects and hobbies of my own. At this point in time, based on some of the challenges that I'm endeavoring with my primary passion as the business, I've had to look at other stuff, and be like, hey, where do my priorities align? With that said, my homestead project is very fun and is very fulfilling. The back of the space, the back 40, if you will, I was going to allow my son, or am allowing my son, to build an airsoft field to play. It's a hobby he would like to have. He would like me to have that hobby. I am having a hard time.
After you guys shot each other how many times?
Well, I have no problem with the shooting myself or each other conversation. It's literally like, where does that fit in my dance card? So, and so this conversation, that Scott's saying, so I've encouraged that, and I found a great use for some of these extra Dana Spicer crate axle crates we have.
Nice.
Because now they are used as obstacles.
Heck yeah.
In the woods behind my house. And
That's
I've
super
taken
fun.
pallets out there, and I've taken some old 55-gallon drums we have, and I've encouraged him to build. But exactly what you're saying is that now he is 100% occupying my little workspace that I have carved out of my own. And as I walk to this space that I've kind of carefully curated, when I drive into my little homestead, it looks neat and tidy and whatever. Now it is overrun with barrels and or drums and crates and pallets, and there's wood where he's taken hammers and just knocked off boards and saws, and he's made him little peepholes for him to put a barrel through and everything. And I had to take a deep breath last night. And it's a conversation that Greg and I actually had this past week. And he said, are you going to finish that house, or are you going to chase your kids around? Because this week one was also tech week, and I'll get to that real quick. And I said, you know what? They're only young ones, and I'm going to let him tear stuff apart in this workspace because he won't be able. If I do my job right, he won't do that forever. He won't be in my space forever. In fact, I probably only have less than 10 years with him living in my personal hula hoop.
Yep.
If I do my job right. And that obviously should be the goal of a good parent. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to teach him to put stuff away from my workbench, but I'm going to just pick up the wood and pile it over here and recognize that, yes, he should be responsible with his workspace. He's doing really good. He's doing 80-90% good over here. I'll just pick up those last couple pieces and not make a big deal.
You're taking care of the 20%.
I'll take thank you.
Yeah.
Yep.
The Pareto
80-20,
principle.
the Pareto principle.
Yep.
I'm doing the same thing.
And exactly, I know you are, and that's why I was going that. The last piece is my daughter, and I really, really, really appreciate so many of our friends, family, and followers on the socials who are so encouraging and talk to me in person about my wife and my daughter's pursuits in dance. But long story short, these troopers, these soldiers, just wrapped up a 8 or 9 day straight dance tech week marathon. They get uno day off. Today is Monday, the recording of the podcast. They get 1 day off. Otherwise, they went straight for 8 or 9 days of tech week, leading up to 3 major primary performances that take up the bulk of our weekend. Where they'll have tonight off, and then they'll go Tuesday through Sunday yet again this week. So pretty much the extent of my Jeep projects is racing from here to there, putting fuel in vehicles, making sure that everybody can get where and how they're supposed
Your
to.
current Jeep maintenance is putting fuel in it.
That's right.
That's I
right.
understand.
And Jeffrey, bring us home on this over.
Yeah,
Talked out.
I have a couple fun things. We had a gift card for Texas Roadhouse, so we, as a family, got to go to that
Nice.
on Tuesday. That was pretty cool. Had a great experience.
Especially as kind of a now being in that position of a restaurant,
and
bar,
it's
and understanding how
phenomenal.
things work.
Yeah, and I had to harass the waitress because they didn't have Voodoo beer. She came back. She's like, "We have Voodoo Ranger on tap." I'm like, "Get out of here! That's not our beer."
That's not your beer. I've seen that advertised, and I get it 100%.
But it was entertaining. Fun story. She mentioned that she was actually wanting to work for Voodoo, and she goes to college at Gannon, right next to our restaurant. So she will start Wednesday.
Sniper! Sniper!
Sniped her. Oh, he went in and he hired her for her services. That's cool.
It is. It was super fun. I told her come in for an interview. She came in for an interview the next day, and we hired her. So, so we had great experience there. But then on Friday, my wife and I actually took a trip down to Meadville. So we drove in, literally opened the doors, let the employees in, and I said, "See you, bye." And we drove straight down to Meadville, and we did the brew tour down in Meadville at the main compound,
headquarters,
where it's all being brewed at, and that was really cool.
Excellent.
Honestly, they were in the middle of brewing some beer, so we got to see the whole process.
Awesome.
From mashing it all the way over to boiling it to the whirlpool, all the way into the fermenter. It was just such a cool process. So we hung out there for a while, and then went back, kept working, and then yesterday, my hands are like super dry, broken out with eczema or whatever, because I was deep cleaning all of our tap systems. We do tap line cleaning basically weekly. But last night I went above and beyond, and I deep cleaned everything.
Nice.
And
what a challenge. Things that they don't talk about.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean,
I mean, we closed at 6 p.m. I left at 1 a.m.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it was a lengthy process to really do a very thorough job. Like there's a regular maintenance cleaning.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we do that essentially weekly. We do 4 one week and 16 the other week because of the way our taps are set up. But last night I did the 16, but I also took every single tap handle, every single keg. I even flushed out the tops of the kegs and deep cleaned the walls and the floor and just really reset us so that we have a good forward projection.
And I think those intangibles are the piece that really differentiates high quality experience, both for the ownership, the employees, and the consumer, regardless of where you're at.
And
You
it
know what I
takes
mean?
a lot of initiative to do that.
Yes.
Something that can be
And it was really, really fun too, because I mean, I've been extra picky about the cleanliness of the restaurant in general. So if I see things left out, I'm like, "Hey guys, we got to take care of this. Hey, don't leave food over there. Hey, don't do this." You know, we're probably too picky, to be honest. But last night, as we were closing up, we had several employees come out and we give them a free shift beer at the end of their shift or whatever. And one of the ones that has been there before our ownership literally said to the rest of the team, "This is so cool, guys. There's no fruit flies in this bar. Usually this time of year, they're everywhere."
Huh.
And I said, "That's because of our cleanliness standards."
That's cool. Good
So,
for you.
Was,
It's a neat
that
to
was
see
it was
that-
kind of
to get that
rewarding to
feedback.
have that.
100%. 100%. I'm looking forward to Jeep Night at your bar, by the way. So
As soon as somebody wants to organize it, we'll set it up.
I know, right? Well, in my free time.
I think
I know.
he's got his plate full.
Yeah, we'll put you on the board for that.
Oh, yeah. There we go. I'll be a consultant. Well, I think that's enough. We've gone over our time limit as usual, but I think it was a fun one, and I appreciate everybody who's kind of hung in there that long. We got a lot to get to, as always. Jeep on.
Keep on.
Jeep on.